Welcome to another edition of Stand on Guard. I'm your host, David Krayden. Well, do I look a little distressed, a little tired, a little worn out? Well, I'll tell you all about it when I come back. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist. Yes, please ring that bell, like this broadcast, subscribe if you haven't. A lot of you are. And, we've recently surpassed 20,000 subscribers. And I wanted to share this with you, or forget. 1 million views. And as of yesterday, we were at 20,141. We're at 20,200 and something now. So thank you, one and all. And if you can like this broadcast, give it a thumbs up and ring that bell if you can right now. That would be appreciated. And like I said, I was at a Pierre Poilievre rally today in Ottawa. Like I promised you yesterday, I was going. I don't just sit here in my library putting on clips that other people have put together. I still believe a journalist has to get out of their place, go out and talk to people, interview people, cover the news. Don't just play other people's material all the time. And that's not what we're about here at Stand on Guards. So I was at the Pierre Poilievre Conservative Party of Canada Axe the Tax, Spike the Hike protest here in Ottawa. And we're at the Infinity Center. I had no idea where that was. Not far from the airport, as it turned out. But I would estimate about 3,000 people showed up. It was a capacity crowd. Couldn't move. And, of course, I got there later than I should. And I'm jostling around to find a place to get some good video. So I'm not at the back of the room. There's no real place for media, especially if you're not a camera operator, and I'm just trying to get pictures with my phone. So a very nice woman offered me a seat next to her. She had virtually a front row seat. That was Patty Zadell, who is a regular viewer of this show, and she was so happy to meet me. So I think it was really a sublime moment, where a moment of serendipity, where you really don't expect something like that to happen at a political rally. And I haven't been at a Pierre Poilievre rally in a long time. And probably not since he won the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada. I've known Pierre Poilievre for many, many years, even before he was a member of Parliament. That's 20 years, he reminded us today. He has been in the House of Commons for 20 years in an Ottawa riding. And it doesn't seem like 20 years, but it has been. He's looking great. I had a chance to shake his hand, say hello. And he really is looking good, but he is tired. He's been doing these carbon tax rallies across Canada. And I think this is probably the first one he's done in his home riding of Ottawa. He's been from East Coast to West Coast, the prairies, all over the country doing these rallies. And he's in Ottawa today, and it was nice to see him again and wish him luck, wish him success, because I think he's worked hard for that. So what I want to do is show you, and just before I forget, here is the very nice woman, Patty Zadell, who is a fan of this program and was on hand to meet Michael Barrett, Conservative MP from Ontario, who has been front and center in combating the malaise of the liberal Arrive scam. I always want to say ad scam because there was another liberal scandal called it. He's been fighting the Arrive scandal, and they had this picture taken together. And so thank you again, Patty, for offering me your seat next to you so we could watch the rally in a very close-up setting. So that was great. So what I want to do, though, is take you through some of the moments here. And it is electric going to a Pierre Poilievre rally. And I tell you, there were some people who thought, Pierre might not excite a crowd. He excites a crowd. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the energy in a room, even before he arrived. And when he entered that room, you could feel the emotion and the energy pulsating from that crowd. They really, really love this guy. So I want to show you some clips here of what went on today, because I think it was quite exciting what's going on here. Because Pierre Poilievre, of course, is not just talking about stopping the carbon tax, which is going up by 23% on April 1st. And it's going to have, of course, cascading effects on the economy, because it's not just the price of energy, of fossil fuels, of your gas in your tank, of the home heating fuel. It's the transportation of all the goods and services involved in this. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's listen to what Pierre had to say today.
The newly elected Liberal leader has now flip-flopped. She claims that she too is against the carbon tax. In Nova Scotia, the provincial NDP Liberals and Conservatives unanimously called on their federal MPs to do the right thing and vote against the April 1st carbon tax hike. There's only one provincial party in Canada that is overtly supporting the carbon tax, and that is the NDP in British Columbia. Nationwide campaign that is thus far included rallies in towns, villages, and hamlets. We will be protesting outside the offices of Liberal MPs, urging them to do the right thing. We're asking you to share our posts, sign our petitions, and encourage your neighbors and friends to do the same thing. Let's mount a massive pressure campaign to stop Justin Trudeau's tax hike and get over. Some Canada's amazing merch. Look at this up. Look at that.
There you go. This is part of the act.
And if you put one of these on, you'll be the envy of your entire neighborhood. Imagine how people, we've got some people with a great merch. Stand up if you're wearing the merch. Bring this guy up to the middle of the microphone. Okay. Say WTF, where's the fun? Where's the funds? We're going to go to bringithome.ca.
I would acknowledge Franco, the small business
owner.
Now, of course, the WTF joke there, if you weren't watching Question Period that day, Pierre Poilievre said WTF, meaning, of course, what the F-U-C-K, about Arrive Can, because there's so many unanswered questions. And why did two guys in their basement make all of this money when they weren't even involved in IT? So Pierre Poilievre, in exasperation, said, what? WTF. The speaker chided him for unparliamentary language. And when he came back, he said, well, what does WTF stand for? It means, where's the funds? So that's what that T-shirt and that joke was about there. So, yeah, good, really, really classic moment. So let's hear a bit more, because there's really he talked about a variety of issues, and I just want to share those with you here. Like he never misses agriculture. So let's listen to this.
Has been rated by UBS Bank as the worst housing bubble in the world for 2022. Vancouver is the third most expensive place on planet Earth when you compare housing prices to median incomes. We have 10 cities in every single town and village countryside of this country. We've got 35 homeless encampments in the beautiful city of Halifax after 8 years of Trudeau. After 8 years of Trudeau, we have the RCMP writing a secret intelligence report warning that if people in Canada wake up to how broke they are, there might be an all-out revolt that could stabilize our institutions. That's not me saying it. That's the National Police Force that has done the math and noticed and calculated how brutally broke we are in this country after 8 years of a Prime Minister who's doubled the debt, who's given us the worst inflation in 4 decades, who's printed $600 billion of cash. And my friends, the good news is, life was not like this in Canada before Justin Trudeau, and it won't be like this after.
Yeah, great moment there. And I think, that just about says it all in terms of what this rally was about. Now, I think actually this is more in tune with the agriculture's sentiment that Pierre Poilievre talked about today.
One by one, we've got farming. By raising the carbon tax up to, by 2030, it's going to be 150 grand in carbon taxes for every single farm in Canada. We've got, for example, the great Carleton Mushroom Farm near Osgood, Ontario. They're already paying over $10,000 a month, an amount that's going to quadruple between now and 2030. Or you've got the Little Miracles of Manotick, Suntech tomatoes. Anybody have those before? The former owners walked me through how the carbon tax is being applied on the CO2 that he releases into his greenhouse, even though it's absorbed by the plant life. Apparently Trudeau missed that day in science class. The price signal that sends is for people to buy the Mexican tomato, which is more affordable in Manotick than the Manotick tomato. So we force our customers to buy a tomato that's transported by truck and train, burning fossil fuels right across North America, sending our money to another country that's more polluting, and sending our jobs away, making us more dependent on the rest of the world, when we have the 6th biggest supply of farmland per capita of any nation on earth. My common sense plan to axe the tax will lower costs for farmers. We will get off their backs by reducing paperwork and unnecessary red tape so that we can bring home food production to Canada.
Now, so clearly he is not just talking about an energy plan, but he's talking about a plan that combines energy into the environment, into the overall economic framework of Canada. This is something Justin Trudeau never even thinks about doing. All he wants to do is deindustrialize Canada because of his extremist ideology on climate change and the environment in general. He wants to head for a net zero, which basically is a catastrophic black hole that is going to lead to complete economic dislocation for businesses and agriculture. Everybody, urban and rural, are going to be decimated by Trudeau's lack of a comprehensive plan. All he wants to do is destroy fossil fuels in the absence of a credible alternative. Poilievre is clearly thinking here, and he integrates his philosophy, his economic philosophy, to the point where he's not just talking about urban business, he's talking about rural agriculture and how they need to work together and how there has to be a plan that works for both. We cannot just cut and slash our energy with nothing to replace it with. And his policy on this is very sound. But I really loved the end of the speech the most because, not that it was a long speech and it was riveting, but because it summed up some of the reasons why I think Poilievre is gaining traction and is almost 20 points ahead of Justin Trudeau now. And the Conservative Party is 20 points ahead of the Liberal Party. Let's listen to this.
And that is why common sense conservatives will unite Canada for freedom. We will repeal the censorship laws, C-11. We will protect the rights of parents to protect their kids and stand up for their values. I will ban all of my ministers and MPs from any involvement in the World Economic Forum. We will shut down the Beijing-controlled police stations. We will ban the Iranian-controlled terrorist group, the IRGC. And we will stand with our Jewish friends and neighbors against the terrible scourge of anti-Semitism.
He hit a gamut of policy issues there, but he's not afraid to talk about parental rights or gender ideology. And he famously said last December that he wants the Conservative Party to be the mind your own business party. Stop interfering in the lives of individuals and parents. Stop telling parents how to rear the children. And he said it again today. Good for him. Talked about the Chinese interference in Canadian elections and domestic policy. Talked about the schizophrenic foreign policy of the Trudeau government. Talked about telling his MPs, his caucus, his cabinet, that you're not going to fraternize with the World Economic Forum. That's verboten. We are not going to play footsie with the WEF. We're not going to follow their agenda. We're not going to be acolytes of the globalists. He's made that clear on several occasions, and he incorporates that pledge now as part of his regular dissertation on Axe the carbon tax. Good for him. He needs to do that. He also said again today, I don't think I have this clip handy, but he said again today that he will privatize, he will sell the CBC. He will insist, he will save taxpayers $1.4 billion a year by selling off the CBC. And that is going to be, and that probably got the biggest roar from this crowd of anything. And he said that today. That always gets the crowd excited. And there was one point where he grabbed an apple and started eating it. And of course, we all saw that famous interview in British Columbia where he's leisurely eating an apple and he's talking to a local journalist who is trying to depict Poilievre as a dangerous Trump-like populist who is going to be taking us down U.S.-style politics. Poilievre just demolishes him in a very Socratic way by asking questions about where did Where did you see that? Where did you hear that? Why would you say that? What evidence do you have for that? And he silences the journalist. And Poilievre said today, an apple a day keeps the woke journalist away. And I thought that was a great moment. So a wonderful day, a wonderful afternoon. And Pierre Poilievre's wife, you can see the back of her, that's their child, Cruz. Anita is his wife. She introduced Pierre today. And a very, very nice moment. I had a chance to meet another fan of this program. And I'm sorry I didn't get your name written down. I had too many facts to deal with today. If you're watching this, please email or in the comments section, or email me at davidkrayden@hotmail.com. I don't care who knows that. It's out there. Email me and tell me your name, and I'll show this slide again the next time. Thank you so much for coming up and shaking my hand and for allowing me into your home every time I do these broadcasts. I'm touched because it means so much when you hear people. And I had about a dozen people at this rally come up to me and say, hey, we saw you on Redacted, or we watch your show every day. I was so blessed to hear that. It was so nice to hear people tell you that what you're doing is appreciated. And, here's a great shot up here. He has come so far in his political life. There were those at one time who said, I can't see Pierre as prime minister. Well, I can see him as prime minister very clearly. And believe me, we cannot stand much more time with Justin Trudeau. And it's imperative that we remove Justin Trudeau in the next election. And I'm not carrying water for Pierre Poilievre. I'm not working for the Conservative Party of Canada. I think he's probably the guy most likely to win in the next election as a principled conservative. I'm a huge fan of Maxime Bernier. He's a personal friend of mine, but I don't think Maxime is going to win the next election. I think we need, first and foremost, to remove the Liberal Party and Justin Trudeau because they are crazy. They are destroying Canada. And I think Pierre Poilievre has a common sense view that is just more in keeping with ordinary Canadians and sanity. And I think this is clearly the way things will go in the next election. That doesn't mean I won't hold him accountable. That doesn't mean I'm going to approve of everything he says or does. That doesn't mean I'm going to be a mindless acolyte who just says anything he does is fine with me. But what he's doing right now with these tax rallies is fantastic. And it is energizing and galvanizing opposition to Justin Trudeau in a way that I haven't seen before. And it all comes back to a common sense message, which should appeal to small c conservatives and libertarians together. Because we need to get rid of the big government socialists, capital L liberals, the Trudeaucrats who are destroying this country. So great rally today. I was glad to be a part of it. And I might cover another one if we have one close by. So this is what I promised today. Wanted to come through in this. And thank you so much for watching. I think I'll be back tomorrow. No question period this week, by the way. Yeah, they're on a break again. That doesn't mean there's not news to cover. And that doesn't mean there aren't many, many things we need to discuss. And I was concerned. He mentioned C11 in that last clip I showed you. He promised to repeal C11, but he said nothing about C63, the online harms bill. And I'm going to keep on this opposition to make sure they continue to oppose the online harms bill so that it does not become law before the next election. That will be my mandate. And you, listeners, viewers, you have told me that repeatedly. Fight this censorship bill. Fight the online harms bill that would put you under house arrest for thought crimes, that would put you in jail for life for so-called hate offenses, hate speech offenses, that could fine you $100,000 for what? Offending somebody? I will keep on that. And I will ensure that we get answers from the official opposition, that they will continue to fight it too. Because you got to keep on any politician to keep them honest and to keep them going in the right direction. Thanks for watching today, folks. I'll be back again soon. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light.